Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our weekly PACE broadcast. And for those of you maybe just joining us for the very first time, PACE is the acronym Pressure Applied Causes Errors, and that's something that Coach Hughes wanted to implement this year simply because of the level of play, the aggressiveness that we're doing, and we're seeing that every week in some of our play. Well, Coach, welcome back. I'm here with Coach Hughes. Hey, we continue to compete.
Yeah.
A lot of good things happening. We did receive our first loss this past week. We'll talk about that a little later, but currently we're 17-1, so congratulations on that. I think state rankings, which, we talked about state rankings, and I think a state ranking is kind of a barometer of the teams that, we haven't seen. We haven't seen Liberty play, Liberty North and some of those schools, and kind of gives us an idea about, where they kind of stack up. So, as much as we don't pay attention to those, it kind of gives us a good idea kind of where we stand as far as competition goes. Let's talk a little bit about this past week. So we had Carthage. That was a good win for the Eagles there in Carthage, 17-4. Logan Rogersville gave us our first loss, 8-9, tough loss. But I think we learned a lot during that game, and we can talk about that. Then the Ozark, of course, anytime you win a backyard brawl, we're always happy about that. I think we swept them this year as far as the three sports go. We beat Ozark 7-2 just last night. So the first thing I want to talk about is, with the good comes the bad, and I want to talk about that loss. So after that game, I know that your conversations could have gone in a lot of different directions, but what did you guys discuss after that loss against Logan Rogersville?
Yeah, we just talked about, the things that we got to learn from, whether we win or lose. There's a lot of things that happen in ballgame, throughout a ballgame. When you get a rain delay for 2 hours, there's a lot of times to think about what you've done up to that point. And, we didn't play well enough. We played a really good Rogersville team, very well coached. A lot of similar players. Our guys know their guys. Coaches know each other. They made more plays than we did, and got bigger. The big hits in the end. I think we walked 8 guys, hit 2 guys. We just didn't play as well as we needed to win that game. We've been close a few times this year. And been able to get that hit or make that play or make that pitch to come out on the end. But this time, unfortunately, we weren't able to. So we just talked about that kind of stuff. Like, in the end, it's one game, and wasn't a conference game, wasn't a district game, another good game against a local team. But we learned that, hey, yeah, every pitch matters. Every inning matters. Every run matters. And so we just said, hey, done with it. It's over now. Learn from it, but we got a big week next week. We got to move on. So we went right into Easter weekend and excited about the weekend and time off to get to spend with family and friends, and came right back after, ready to go Monday.
Good, and I think we talked about that before on the show. Was that good athletes have short memories, right? And so I know I've heard you say many a times when you go to the plate, you're it doesn't matter what you did your last 8 weeks. And there's an old saying that people really don't care. All they care about is what you've done lately.
Yeah.
So, that's good that you guys moved on from that. And certainly not taking anything away from Logan Rogers. I think they've only lost 3 games this season. So they're a good team, and they fought back. So, we take our lumps and we learn. So tell us about the win from Ozark last night. It's always good to win that backyard brawl. We've been competitors and we've been rivals since the dawning of the age. And so tell us about, what does that feel like to have your first backyard brawl, that feather in your hat?
Yeah, for sure. When we took the job back in August, this was one of those games that they talked about. Like, that's the game that you're going to win. And that's the game we need to win. We want to win every single year. And, again, guys bouncing back. Our first game back out there after a loss. See how our guys responded, and I think just kind of showed the character of our team. Like, it was like the loss never happened. First inning, guys are screaming in the dugout, yelling, we're excited, ready to go, and came out firing at the plate. Guys were attacking. They threw their guy against us, and we got in the box ready to win and ready to attack. And so it was a good atmosphere, great energy, a big crowd again. Both sides yelling and doing that kind of stuff. And so it was fun. It was first experience of that backyard brawl. But I grew up in Branson, and we always wanted to beat Ozark too. So I'm used to having that energy when you go play Ozark. It's just one of those games that you get excited for.
Yeah, well, good loss or good win for sure. With that group up there, and we knew. I don't care if we had a losing season coming into it. they had a losing season or we had a winning season, it didn't matter. They're always going to play good, and they're going to try their best against the Eagles, just because that's what we created. So something that we wanted to ask you about today was tell us about unleashing the beast. So I think it was a point in the game against Ozark that we may not have agreed much with the way the play turned out, and we heard something from the dugout to unleash the beast. And we were just going to ask you, kind of, what does that mean? Tell us a little more about that.
Yeah, that's good stuff. That's a great question. Just one of those things. Didn't agree with the call and went out and talked about it. Still didn't agree with it after all was said and done. Ultimately, just kind of got our dugout fired up more. And then all of a sudden, Nelson hits a ball off the wall. And it just kind of came out. I was like, all right, well, you want to do that? You want to wake us up? You better be prepared for what's about to happen. And they did. And the guys responded. The energy was there. We got guys that just want to compete and want to fight in the box like that. And that's the beast. They unleashed it, and we let it out and let it run. So
no, I think that's great, and it's your job to motivate. It's your job to guide. It's your job to direct. And we've heard of coaches getting tossed intentionally, and situations like that. But we really enjoyed the unleash the beast.
I've never been one that's for a lack of words or lack of outspoken energy, and sometimes I yell "Unleash the beast." Probably won't be the last time this year either. But it's fun. It's the guys love that stuff.
Yeah.
The fans, I heard some fans laughing, and my two boys were sitting there like, "What did you just say?" And I was like, "I don't know. It was in the moment, and we got a big hit, so it worked out."
And you're right. Everything worked out.
Yeah.
So the last thing we wanted to talk to you about before we talked about the schedule is. So we're a little over halfway through our season. We're 17-1. I think we have 14 regular season games left. So we're a little over halfway. So what we kind of want to get your mind on is tell us a little bit about how you feel today with regard to the level of play compared to what you expected at this point.
Yeah, I think obviously we're happy with where we're at. We continue to show every game that there's a lot of things that we can do on the field positively. There's a lot of things that a lot of ways that we can win baseball games. We've won a lot of different ways this year. Sometimes it's been hitting, sometimes it's been pitching, sometimes it's been great defense. But we've also shown that there's still a lot of things that we need to continue to work on. Even in last night's game against Ozark, we came out firing 2 innings and then 4 innings in the middle. We kind of fell asleep at the plate. And their guy came in throwing fastballs and was throwing it outside. And we started falling behind and kind of lost our sight of being aggressive and how we have success in the box. And, defensively, we're continuing to work through some things. And we finally got to practice on a baseball field on Monday where we could get some ground ball reps and do those things. But so there's still a lot of things that we've got to continue to get better at, which is good because it keeps it interesting in practice. And guys know that we want to be there in the end. We want to have a shot to win the whole thing. And so we're hungry every day to get better. And we need to take advantage of that opportunity today at practice as well.
Good. No, you're always curious because you come from the college ranks into the high school ranks, so it is different. We've talked about that on the show, and so that's good. It's a good explanation of where we came from, how we got here, and that level of play we want to continue. So with that, let's talk about the schedule this week. We got at least 4 games that we know about, and could be more based on that tournament, Paul Dudley. So we have Joplin tomorrow night. It's supposed to be at home, 4:30 here. We haven't decided yet with all the rain that we're getting. There may be some modifications that we have to make. So what does Joplin look like this year?
So I think they're 9-8. They got a good win, I think against Carthage last night. From what we've heard, they've got some really good wins. They've got some tough losses, but they're a team that's going to compete every single week. I know that they've had some really big wins against good teams on Thursdays. I don't know what that means. Maybe they throw their best guy on Thursdays. I'm not sure. But it's another conference game. Through football and basketball, now baseball. Like it's another team that we want to beat them. They want to beat us. So I know they're going to bring a lot of energy, and we'll decide later tonight probably if we'll be able to get our field ready or not. If not, we'll possibly move it to Joplin. And then we got the wood bat tournament, this week with Fatima and Kirksville and Camdenton. Don't really know a whole lot about them except the record and who they played against. But it's at the end of the week. Everybody would have played 3, 4, 5 games by then. And so it's probably going to be some of those games where we need to score, and then everybody's going to need to score. Yeah. And so another opportunity for a lot of our guys to get in the game, especially on the mound. When you get into 5 games in a week, you're going to need everybody to pitch. And so guys are going to come out that haven't gotten a lot of opportunities. And we're going to need them to compete in the strike zone. Good.
Yeah, that's a good tournament. We see, some of the other games that we play, we see some teams that we don't normally see, which is good for us. Yeah. And it's a wood bat, which you back to the old, the good old days. So it's always fun to watch. Yeah. So folks, just to reiterate, make sure that you pay attention. Coach is really good about offering updates as far as where the game's going to be changing, things like that. If you can't make it to Joplin, make sure that you can watch online through our YouTube, Nixa Public Schools. The Nixa Live crew does a great job at the commentary and making you feel like you're actually there. Awesome. If you can't be there, and so it's great coming from the side of a parent. And so it's good as far as if you can't be at those games and you still like listen. We're getting a lot of listeners too.
Yeah, it's great.
We checked some of that last night, so we're getting a lot of listeners to the games. So, Coach, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I always enjoy these conversations. I always love picking your brain about kind of where we are, what we're doing to continue the success, and what we're doing to get better when it matters more in May and toward the end of the season. So good luck this week.
Thank you.
A lot of good baseball, and good luck to your kids and to your team. So, folks, coming up, we've got senior John Gholson that's going to be joining us, but we'll be right back after this sponsorship commercial.
Mr. Callahan, what's your favorite day?
Friday.
Favorite time?
Morning. Why?
Well, Air Services offers online bookings so you can schedule around your favorite time.
That's a great option.
Now you can choose what works best with your schedule. No waiting, no operators, no canned music.
Please make it stop.
And with online booking, you don't have to talk with anyone.
I'm liking this more and more.
Call Air Services today.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we are back to our weekly Pace broadcast, and just to reiterate, maybe some changes tomorrow night. The game is due here for Joplin tomorrow night here at home at 4:30. May have to move that, kind of depending on the weather, if we can get the field ready. So pay attention to the updates. Coach Hughes is really good about putting those on Facebook, so make sure that you pay attention to those. Well, hey, I'm super excited. We've got a senior. And I guess you could say that you're a first baseman and part-time pitcher because you've seen the mound some this year, John Gholson. So, John, welcome to the weekly Pace broadcast. We are super happy to have you. We're super happy to be able to pick your brain, find out kind of some of the things that you're thinking about and what your plans are even after high school baseball and they're on. So, first thing we want to do is we wanted to congratulate you on the wrestling season. You had a tremendous wrestling season. You went to state. I think you suffered a tough loss in state, but so tell us about your wrestling season and then your plans after high school, because I know you're going to go wrestle somewhere. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so during wrestling season, I wanted to win state, of course, and came up a little short with that in my semi-smash, but battled back 2 more wins, got 3rd place, so I was pretty happy with that. And then I think that really influenced my decision to go and wrestle in college. Just because I didn't want to end it on that.
Sure.
So goal now is to be an actual champion, hopefully, in college.
Good. Now, where are you going to go to school?
William Jewell.
William Jewell.
Yeah.
William Jewell. Great school, not far from here.
Mm-hmm.
Got a good wrestling program there. And what weight are you going to wrestle when you go to William Jewell?
I'll probably be a heavyweight.
Heavyweight?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, now let's talk baseball. Okay, so wrestling and baseball, 2 different brains, right?
Yeah.
So you got to put the wrestling brain away and go into baseball. But so tell us about that mental shift, going from wrestling to baseball. What's the mental shift, and what's that like?
I would say wrestling. It's more of on you. You know, I think baseball is more like you get to trust other people. You know, you let people do their job and you do your job. Wrestling, it's more of it's all on you. You know, this is your spot, this is your thing. So baseball, you're able to share that responsibility with other people, and that's kind of nice because it takes a little bit of load off. You also know that your part is significantly more important.
So how do you, how does the strength aspect of wrestling, how does that affect you in baseball?
I'd say, you know, probably coming off from like our tough loss from William Rogersville, right after the game, I was just kind of like, well, that's it, you know, like we got another game coming up soon, you know, we got to prepare for that one. It's wrestling, it's a very high-paced sport, so once something doesn't go your way, you gotta, you know, turn your head away from it and you gotta go and move on.
That's great. That's great. And as a young man, that's something that you'll use for the rest of your life, and that's what we like to hear. So the next thing we want to know, the next question we want to ask is, tell us about how special it is to play such a major part in this baseball season. How special is that to John Gholson?
Yeah, so I mean, even if I'm on the field or if I'm off the field, just I don't know, just the cheering and just the people that we have in our dugout, just always being up and you're really supportive. Whether you're out there, you know, if you mess up on a play, you always got someone that's picking you up, you know, making you feel better. Or whether you're the person in the dugout making someone feel better about maybe missing a play, or someone hits a home run and everyone's out there cheering for them. It's just a great atmosphere.
Good. And we see it, and let me tell you, we enjoy it. We've had some of the largest crowds I think we've ever had as far as this baseball season goes. I couldn't see everybody that was sitting behind us there at Ozark last night. There's no telling how many people were there because you could scatter out so much. Of course, we knew that crowd was going to be aggressive anyway, just because of who it is. But let me just tell you that I know you guys feed off us, but we also feed off of you guys. And when you guys make a good play, and we've seen you make a couple of good plays, and Coach Hughes and I have talked about that, is that we really feel that the guys this year, including you and a lot of the other guys, there's a lot of diving bodies. And you guys hustle and you work hard for one another. And we've asked Coach Hughes that, and one thing that does is that makes everybody else want to work that much harder as well. So congratulations to you guys and kudos to you guys because we do feed off that. And we see things like that, maybe compared to play from another school or something like that. So I want to talk about your swing real quick. Your swing is really pure. You need to get in there. If you like to pitch, you don't hold back. You swing the bat. So walk us through what's going through your mind when you are at the plate, when you're in at bat. Okay, so if the game is close. So what's going through your mind when you come to the plate? Do you like off-speed pitches? Do you like a fastball right down the middle? What's going through your mind? Walk us through that.
I'm more of a fastball down the middle, maybe a little bit more to the outside. You know, I'm a big inside guy. I mean, if it's there, it's there. But I really just try to square up the ball. You know, it's really about how hard you get the ball, not where it goes. You know, and that's what my dad's really told me growing up is it's not how far you get the ball, it's how hard you get the ball. And so I just try to hit the ball as hard as I can. Wherever it goes, you know.
Good. Well, you hit the ball hard too. And we all enjoy your walk-up song.
Yeah.
Big Bad John. We enjoy that from up here in the booth. So, but yeah, your dad. That's great advice from your dad. You know, one of the plays that we saw you make just last night in Ozark was it was a hard hit ground ball to you. You made sure that the ball did not get past you. You fielded it well. First thing you do was get the lead runner. That's somewhat advanced because you have to have the mentality that you're going to know what to do with the ball before the ball comes to you, right? So I just wanted to tell you that was impressive the way you handled that ball, the way you threw the ball. And that may sound odd, but just the aggressiveness when you threw the ball to second, you weren't afraid. You let it fly, and so that was always good. So I wanted to tell you that. I thought about that last night. So the last thing that we want to ask you, we always ask any of the players that come on is, do you do anything different on game day? Any superstitions that you have?
Really for baseball, not too much. It's the casual don't step on line, and stuff. But for wrestling and stuff, I always wear the same underwear every competition. I have peach underwear.
You wash them though, right?
Yeah, I wash them. Yeah. So like I have a tournament. Maybe it's a 2-day tournament. I'll go to Coach Ryan. I'm like, hey, like, I need a load. I need to do a load of laundry. He's like, why? I was like, I need to wash my underwear. And so I'd always wash my underwear, and then I would have the same underwear every day for a big tournament or something.
You could use that as a tactic that someone, if your underwear did stink, maybe you
Yeah.
hand you or something like that. So no, that's good. No, that's good. I'm always curious, because sports, especially competitive sports, is something that you're really, really good at, and something that you take very seriously. You tend to be more superstitious in those sports. So that's really good to know. So, well, John, thank you so much. I appreciate you joining us today. Good luck the rest of your season. If we don't get to communicate with you on the broadcast, good luck as you move past high school into your wrestling career at William Jewell. We're super happy for you. So congratulations on that. And thanks for being on. And keep swing away. Right?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I
You bet.
appreciate it.
Hey folks, we will be right back with Jackson Locke, a senior catcher here for Eagle Nation. Cannot wait to pick his brain and ask him how the season's going and some of his comments. So we'll be right back after this commercial break.
Mr. Callahan, what's your favorite day?
Friday?
Favorite time?
Morning. Why?
Well, Air Services offers online bookings so you can schedule around your favorite time.
That's a great option.
Now you can choose what works best with your schedule. No waiting, no operators, no canned music.
Please make it stop.
And with online booking, you don't have to talk with anyone.
I'm liking this more and more.
Call Air Services today.
Hey folks, welcome back to our weekly Pace broadcast. Super excited to have our next senior catcher here at Eagle Nation, Jackson Locke. Jackson, welcome to the weekly Pace broadcast. So some things that we wanted to ask you, being a catcher, and we'll talk about this a little later here in this interview, but being a catcher is a major role in the field. Some people don't like it, and some people don't want to expect that that responsibility. They don't want that, and then some people crave it, and I know you crave it, and you thrive on that. Thus, some of your future plans in life, and we'll talk about that as well. So, but first thing that we want to ask you is, tell us how special it is to be a part of the season this year and to be an Eagle this year and the way things are going.
It's been a pretty good year. 17-1 is not easy to do, especially with the competition we have around here with how good Ozark's been playing this year, and we know Web City's coming up in a couple weeks. They'll be pretty good. We got Joplin on Thursday. You come out every game, every team you're playing wants to beat you because you're the team that is doing the best in the area, like we saw with Rogersville. It's always good when, even if you lose and they celebrate like they won a World Series, you know you're doing something right. So it's just been a good year.
So that's a good comment. They celebrated big time, and you're right. When we step onto the field, when someone looks at their schedule and they see Nixa, we got Nixa next, they know they're going to get a fight, but they also know that if we can win this game, this will really prove that we are getting better, right? Because we beat such a good team. So that was a good point. So your role as a catcher is very crucial, especially during the entire game, because you see the entire field, you know what's happening every play. And there are certain positions that you have to be in based on, runners in scoring position. And there's things that you have to do that you may have to work harder if there's a guy on third base, and the pitcher throws one in the dirt. So what goes through your mind as you're working to call a quality game? What goes through your mind when you're behind the plate like that?
So catching is a lot of little things behind the scenes that you can't necessarily see when you're just watching the game. The spectators see the throwing it down the second, the blocking, all that stuff, but it's a lot of getting to know your pitchers in practice, getting to know what they are good at throwing, and then even right before the game and bullpen warm-ups, is their curveball working good for them or not? If it's not, you're not going to throw that as much in the game. And then during the game, it's keeping track. That first round through the lineup, you're keeping track of, what did that batter do in his at bat, and the next time he comes up. you're setting up on the inside if you think that he can't reach that pitch, and then if he swung and missed on a curveball in the dirt the first at bat, then I go back there the second at bat. And then framing is a big thing. It's not seen as much. People think that throwing down and blocking is probably the biggest part of it, but framing is what I would say is catching is transitioning to that, because it's if you can't get a strike for your pitcher, well then you're not doing your pitcher any good. So it's just little things and keeping the game moving, keeping your pitcher at a good pace, not too fast, not too quick, all that stuff.
No, that's good. So let's talk about that. So you're right. A lot of people don't see how good of a framer a good catcher is. And I know that that's something that you concentrate on a daily basis. So let's talk about that. How big? What does that make you feel like? So when you get a ball that might be just a little bit outside and you can squeeze that out to get a strike, how does that? And that can change the rest of the game, right? Because if you know that that he's the umpire, because we had several umpires that really give us that outside plate, maybe even a little further than outside plate, right? So when you talk about framing, walk us through that.
It's just, if the umpire's giving you the outside call and you're able to frame that pitch well, you keep pounding outside. It's hard for a hitter to reach a ball outside, especially with a lot of the guys we have that throw pretty hard and blow the fastball right past them. And then, like a curveball, it's easy if you're getting like a low pitch, you're working up and under it. And it's just easy. It's easier to get strikeouts and get way more calls if you're able to frame.
Good, yeah, and we've told this to several of our pitchers. I think our pitchers, a good catcher makes a better pitcher, right? Because they know if they're down in the count, or if they're ahead in the count, or if they've got two guys in scoring position or a guy on second, they're trying to keep off third. Sometimes it's hard to keep that guy at second base, as a pitcher, or keep him at first base. So it's important to have a good catcher that they know if they miss, that if their curveball doesn't break or breaks a little lower than they thought, or if they throw a ball 55 feet instead of 60 feet, that they've got a good catcher that's going to back them up. So kudos to you guys. I know you guys work hard on it, and we are very good with catchers right now, which you don't see that a lot, in high school. So congratulations on that. So next thing we wanted to talk about is how is the culture of the team and the organization, I guess you could say, different today than it has been in past years?
This year it's just super fun. You come out to the games, you have more people at these games than I've seen at any other high school game ever. You come out here every day, you expect to win. You have a group of guys that I think you could put any 9 guys out on the field and you're going to have a really good chance to win that game just because every player in that dugout can play baseball at a super high level. Just the dugout stuff, the coaches are fun to be around. They keep it fun, but they also know when to be serious. And that fun environment keeps you relaxed and helps you play baseball better when you're relaxed.
So Coach Hughes is not here. So Unleash the Beast. Did that get you fired up last night when you said that?
I was standing right there when he said it. And he said a lot of funny stuff about the umpires, and that kind of gets the dugout all fired up because we're laughing. We're just having a good time.
Good. Well, we see the culture changes, and we're super excited about it from a spectator's standpoint. We're very excited that you guys are having fun, right? Because that's what it's about. At the end of the day, it is a game, and everybody wants to win. I don't think you could, whatever our roster is, 40 guys or 36 guys or whatever it is, I think if you interview one of them, no one wants to go out and say, I want to do bad today, right? And I think you're right. There's a whole dugout full of guys that can compete just like the guys that start the game, and that makes for good competition, but also it makes for good camaraderie too. Because I know you guys root those guys on, and when you're on the field, they root you on. So it turns out to be good. So last question: any superstitions? Anything that you do differently on a game day that you would not normally do on a non-game day?
I don't do anything too crazy or specific. We do a coach memo quote of the day before every game. It comes up with some fancy quote. Some are good, some maybe not as good, but you don't need to know that. And we just do that, and then we got a purple llama from Incredible Pizza. His name's Murphy, and he sits outside the dugout and watches the game. keeps us rolling.
Okay, so the purple llama, that's the first time I've heard of the purple llama. But hey, whatever works, right? If you got to hanging from the edge of the dugout, then let's do that. So, where everybody's got to rub his head or whatever we got to do, keep playing like we're doing, let's do it. So, well, Jackson, thank you so much. First thing, and the last thing we want to ask you is, what are your plans after high school?
I will be going to OTC for the next 2 years to get my associates in criminal justice. I'll be trying to move on to the Highway Patrol Academy.
Oh, wow. That is super exciting. Good. Good for you. What a great career. And what a rewarding career, too. And I think those guys are, we take, we don't see the value in some of those guys as much as we should. So congratulations on that. We're super excited to see you, well, maybe not see you on the highway, if you pull us over, but maybe wave at you when we drive by or something like that. So, well, Jackson, thank you for stopping by. We still have a lot of baseball left. So good luck this year. Good luck working hard, making everybody better, including yourself. Thank you again for stopping by. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this week's broadcast. We'd like to thank you for stopping by. Thanks for watching the broadcast. And on behalf of all of us here at Eagle Nation, we'll see you next time.
Mr. Callahan, what's your favorite day?
Friday?
Favorite time?
Morning. Why?
Well, Air Services offers online bookings so you can schedule around your favorite time.
That's a great option.
Now you can choose what works best with your schedule. No waiting, no operators, no canned music.
Please make it stop.
And with online bookings, you don't have to talk with anyone.
I'm liking this more and more.
Call Air Services today.